Hi, I'm Iridium. Hope you're doing all right today. It's album review time. We've got Manic Sinners and King of the Badlands. This is a Frontiers release. It's coming out on February the 18th. So I got this one early. Got all the February releases now are available to me. So I've been trying to bang through them and get them done. Been some fantastic ones so far from Frontiers. There's been some fantastic releases in this year already. It's just amazing already. It's just shaping up to be a great year, and this album is going to add to that. Now, this band are the first Romanian band to be signed to Frontiers, so that's a bit special. Frontiers, we know, you know, they don't fuck around. They go to lots of different countries and sign bands, which is great. And there's been some great ones lately that have been signed. So this is a debut album. Like I said, new band. This album is 55 minutes and 46 seconds long. Let me run you through the band and tell you a little bit about them on this album. So this is going to be fun, because Romanian. So here we go. We got Ovidiu Anton on the vocals. Now, he's got such a unique voice. A lot of the time he sings in this sort of deeper tone, but he can also scream as well. So he's got the range, but he's got a brilliant tone at that lower level, which I absolutely love. It gives him something different. It gives me something different to think about. Just an absolutely brilliant singer. Reminds me a little bit at times, because he's got a little bit of aggression to his voice as well. A little bit of that Dio sort of sound when he hits those low notes. Then you've got Adrian Igrason. He's doing the drums, keyboards, a bit of bass and some guitar. So doing a load of stuff on this album. Well, the musicianship on this album is absolutely fantastic. It's quite heavy at times, and other times it's sort of almost venturing into AOR. I suppose a little bit too heavy for AOR, more like melodic rock. And then you get sort of metal sort of songs as well. A real mixture of songs, but all in that sort of melodic rock, heavy rock, sometimes metal vein. Then you've got Tony Dijmarescu on the guitar, and it does a bit of bass as well. The guitaring across this album is fantastic. This is another guitarist to add to the plethora of amazing guitarists that are about now. I'll tell you where he's playing really reminds me of some of the riffing and the playing, the frenetic playing. Really gives me that sort of Jakey Lee, John Sykes sort of feel in a lot of this playing and riffs on this album. So this is a great album, guys. So if you want to know sort of what it sounds like, it's a real interesting listen, really interesting. There's variety, but not too much variety. They don't stray ever from the path and do like thrash or pop music. It's always in the sort of harder sort of vein, but the songs give you a lot of variation. In other words, like I said, you get some sort of hard AOR songs, and then it goes to metal almost. Great songwriting choices to keep them unique as well. You know, the way they write songs, they do sound unique. We're in a sort of music industry now with the rock, melodic rock especially. You get a lot of bands that sound the same. These guys set themselves apart, one, because of the vocalist, and two, because of their songwriting and the way they vary their songs. So who do these sound like? Well, because of the variation in the songs, it's quite hard to pinpoint, you know, actual bands. As I'm listening to songs, I can hear sort of influences that, you know, I'm thinking they sound like certain songs, and I can hear Dio, for instance, but that might come more with the vocals. Newer bands like Thy Row, one of my favourite albums from last year, I feel like they got some sort of, I'm not saying they're influenced by them, they might not have even heard them, but they got some sort of similarities to them. Also a lot of 80s bands like Dokken, Lion, Icon, those sort of bands. It gives me those feels sometimes. So a great mixture of bands to think about. This album was mixed by Alessandro Del Vecchio. It's a great mix on this album. Sounds a little bit different than his usual production, I would say. It's got more of a rougher edge. I think he does really well at, depending what band it is, he really sort of tailors the mix towards that band. This is a heavier band, so it's got a bit of a rougher, more of a live feel mix. When he does AOR stuff, it seems to have a bit of a smoother mix, and you can understand exactly where it's come from. So it's a great sounding album as well. I do run through my favourite tracks. So the first one is Drifters Union. Now this was the first single. This is a great heavy start to the album. Some great Jake Ely-esque guitar work, like I was saying, some frenetic playing. It's a medium to fast paced song, a chorus that really soars. It's melodic as hell. Absolutely love the instrumental section before the last chorus comes in as well. Some really clever playing on this to really get you thinking as well. It's a great listen. Next up is the title track, King of the Badlands. So that intricate frenetic guitar work continues at the intro to this song and throughout as well. I love that this has a sort of slightly modern feel. I think the band do touch upon modern feels slightly, but they're definitely in with their music as well, especially in the verses in this one. But also love the fact the melody is the key on every track on this album. There's a great stomp to this track in places as well, and overall it's sort of got a lot of dark, sort of heavy feel. Next up is Anastasia. So a great shift, and I was talking about variation, a great shift in tempo with this one. More of a melodic rock AOR track. Hooky guitar melodies, great backing vocals and smooth synth touches throughout. Really love the mix of the sort of harder edged vocals though with this sort of track. It sounds different with an AOR type track. It gives a really cool vibe to it as well. Next track I want to talk about is Ball and Chain. Now, this is a great ballad. Clean guitar and vocals drift along in an almost Dokken-esque ballad. Again, those vocals, man, they're so unique to me. A brilliant choice to do an acoustic solo as well. I love the solo on this song. It keeps that sort of great vibe throughout this track. It does never get too heavy. It remains a ballad. It has build-ups, but it never goes into heavy music. It's a great song. Next one I want to talk about is Carousel. She's one of a kind, guaranteed to blow your mind. This was the second single, only released like a couple of weeks ago, I think. What a fun, groove-laden track this is. Sort of slow to medium paced. This is what I call, and sometimes I say, a driving track. You get in your car, just perfect, turn it up, just perfect for that sort of thing. Beautiful vocal harmonies, just top off a brilliant 80s inspired track. Play to Lose is the next one I want to talk about. Another slow to medium pace song. A classic Dokken-esque riff kicks off a brilliant slow to medium pace track before some brilliant verses that have the vocalists singing over clean guitar, before those sort of groove Lynch-esque riff kicks in again over a banging chorus. This feels like 1985 all over again, this one. Next one I want to talk about is A Million Miles. Now the band hits their sort of AOR style again here, but with those chuggy guitars in tow. It's always heavy on the guitars, no matter if it's an AOR sort of track. This has that feel Carousel has for me, where it's a sort of a summer driving song. Fun, hooky, and yeah, catchy as hell. So they're my favourite tracks from this great album. This is a brilliant debut album from Manic Sinners. Banging album. This is so recommended, guys. You're going to love this one. Manic Sinners and King of the Badlands. Get it.